apologies for the title, because it is a little bit of clickbait, because I'm not going to be basically telling you exactly why calorie deficit isn't working for you, because ultimately, and a lot of people are not going to like this, if you are not finding that your calorie deficit is working, let's say you're trying to lose fat, you're trying to lose weight, and you're trying to create a calorie deficit and it's not working and you're not losing fat, it simply comes down to the fact that you are not in a calorie deficit. So there's two actual reasons, right, as to why a calorie deficit will not work for you. Two reasons. The first reason, you are violating the first law of thermodynamics. If you're not losing fat whilst in a calorie deficit, you are violating the first law of thermodynamics. The first law of thermodynamics states that energy cannot be created nor destroyed, only transferred from one state to another, and it's the thing that governs fat loss. Because if you haven't got enough energy in your body, or more specifically, if you haven't got enough calories in your body in order to function and do your day-to-day things, such as, you know, moving about, staying alive, exercising, eating food, etc., etc., then your body cannot create energy from nowhere. What it actually does is it gets the energy, transfers the energy from your fat stores in order to use to burn on your day-to-day activity and exercising and all that good stuff. Okay, so your body will get that energy from your fat stores. Once it gets that energy from the fat stores, your fat cells will start to shrink, ultimately resulting in fat loss being occurred. And as I said, that is governed by the first law of thermodynamics in much the same way as if I drop this bottle, the law of motion states that it will stop once it hits my hand, right? So it's something that you cannot change. If you are violating the first law of thermodynamics, then you are the only person in the history of the universe, you are the only organism in the known organism in the history of the universe to do so, and you need to get tested. So that's the first way in which a calorie deficit is not working for you. The second reason as to why a calorie deficit isn't working for you is you're not in a calorie deficit. You are not in the calorie deficit that you assume you're in. Because if you were in a calorie deficit, you'd be losing fat. There's many ways as to why you're potentially not in the calorie deficit that you assume you are, and I'm about to explain a few of them to you right now. The first way in which you most likely are not in a calorie deficit is the calorie target that you're working towards most likely is not accurate. Okay? And this could be basically down to over-exaggerating your activity level. So let's say, for example, you work in an office, but you go for a walk every once a week. Go for a walk on like Saturday or something for like 30 minutes. You could potentially put down that your activity level is lightly active. If you're putting your activity level as lightly active or moderately active, then you are actually over-exaggerating your activity level by quite a lot, and therefore you're actually over-guessing your overall calorie deficit by about 300-400 calories. That's the difference between being sedentary and being lightly or moderately active. Okay, so you're probably over-exaggerated your activity level, which means that your calorie deficit is actually lower than what you think it is right now. Okay. The second way in which there's a chance that you potentially aren't in the calorie deficit that you assume you're in is because you are not accurately logging your foods. Okay. And what I mean by this is, are you weighing your foods out? Now, I've recorded a video which I'm going to be posting tomorrow, actually, regarding the importance of weighing your food, right? And basically what I've done is, I'm going to explain it to you right now, is I've got some cereal, some like chocolate crisp from Aldi, really paying cereal, absolutely amazing. Shout out to Aldi for that, right? But when I pour it in, the serving size is like 30 grams for about 150 calories or something like that. Now, if I pour it in and just have the amount that I probably would have in a regular bowl of cereal, I then weighed it, and there isn't 30 grams in it. There's more about 130 grams in it or something like that, which is about 130 grams that I put in a regular serving that I have, which is 4 times as much, which actually works out close to 500, 600 calories just in breakfast. So basically, I'm under account. If I just logged it in as a portion size of that chocolate crisp without weighing it out, I've actually underestimated my overall calorie intake from that breakfast by 500 calories. That's the input. And if you do that every single day of the week, let's say you do that for 7 days, right? That's 3,500 calories that you've unaccounted for. 3,500 calories and 1 pound of body fat. So if you've not weighed your food out and been accurate with how much you think that you're eating, there's a chance that you're actually over consuming more calories than what you think you are. And that is just quite a big exaggerated example, because I have quite a big appetite anyway, right? I have quite a big appetite, so obviously I was just filling the breakfast bowl up with the cereal, and I just thought, you know what, that's the amount of food I would usually eat in that cereal bowl. Therefore, it was like 4 times as much as what the serving size was, but I wouldn't have known that unless I weighed it out. Now, if you just do that with something else, something more regular, and even if it isn't as much of an increase in calories, it will still add up. Let's say, for example, that you are 50 calories off with your cereal, right? 50 calories off with your cereal. Then let's say, for example, that you do the same thing for your dinner. And let's say, for example, you have, I don't know, what can we say? Let's say, for example, you have some pasta for your dinner, and you under account by about 100 calories because you've not measured out the pasta, you've not weighed the pasta out. Then for tea, let's say you have mince or like beef mince, and you didn't weigh that out, you just put what you think you need in there, and you actually under account by about 150 calories. Over the course of the day, you've under accounted by about 300 calories, right? So there's 300 calories that you've not accounted for, which means, and let's say by the end of that day, you think to yourself, cool, I'm in a calorie deficit, but you're in a calorie deficit without the 300 calories that you've missed out. Let's say, for example, you do that for 12 days. Let's say you miss out 300 calories because of what I've just said for 12 days. By 12 days, that's 3,500 calories, 3,600 technically, that you have not accounted for. 3,500 calories is about a pound of body fat. And that is why it's so important to weigh your food out, because it gives you a little bit of an accurate representation of what you need to be eating in order to lose fat. And if you're not weighing it out, you're leaving it up for chance. And finally, another reason as to why you're probably not in a calorie deficit is you're not logging everything that you eat. So it kind of falls into place with that previous point. But sometimes people, they log all their main meals and a couple of snacks, and they're hitting their calorie deficit target. And then obviously they, every now and then, just have a bit of chocolate that their friends brought into work, or they have some Wrigley sugar gum or bubble gum or anything like that, or they put spread on their toast, or they put sauce on their plate, and all of these calories will add up. Okay, meaning there's let's say, for example, there's 200 calories in the things that they've not logged, in a couple of pieces of chocolate, some sauce, some spread, 200 calories overall. Let's then say that they've added that to the 300 calories that they've not logged throughout the day. That's 500 calories that you've missed out on over the course of the day. That's why a calorie deficit isn't working for you, because you're not actually in a calorie deficit. I hope that helps, and I hope that makes sense. If you have any more questions for me, please feel free to send them through to my inbox at k.p_health. If you want any of my free resources, including my Ultimate Eating Out Guide, my 5-ingredient recipe book, and my free alcohol cheat sheet, please feel free to email me on my email address, kieran@kphealth.co.uk, and I'll be more than happy to send them through to you, no strings attached. In the meantime, take care of yourself, have a lovely rest of your day, and I'll speak to you again very soon. Take care.